Hello, I'm Oliver. I'm a specialist here at Baldwin's, and today I'm going to be talking about two Westminster Magistrates badges. Very rare pieces, and we're fortunate enough to have two here on the Strand. So what are magistrates? Well, magistrates in England and Wales are trained volunteers who help with legal and court proceedings. They're not judges and they're not legally trained necessarily. They're a level below that, men of good standing and good character who help, who volunteer their time and their service to help the smooth running of the courts. So towards the end of the 18th century, questions were being asked about these magistrates. There were some dodgy characters that had infiltrated the position and were essentially being bribed by these petty criminals to let them go or give more lenient sentences. And this was being encouraged because the position was actually unpaid. And not many landed people wanted to volunteer their time for no reward, particularly if it had the risk of soiling your reputation by some of your fellow magistrates being a bit crooked. So in 1792, this practice of what was called back then trading judges, these magistrates who were accepting bribes, was near enough put to an end by the introduction of a £400 stipend, which was paid every year and made the job a little bit more attractive to people. £400, to give you an idea, back then is about just over £70,000 today. The pound has, of course, lost over 99% of its value since then. So the first badge that we're looking at today dates from 1856. Now this wasn't the first badge that was issued. It says on the reverse of the badge that the first one was issued for wear in 1765 during the reign of George III. So this is a fair bit after that. It shows the portcullis coat of arms of Westminster, as I mentioned, around a very ornate wreath. It's made of silver gilt and it is hallmarked as such with Victorian hallmarks and a London assay office. This one is awarded to a man called Taverner John Miller in June 1856. And what's interesting is that he then adds later his father's name onto the badge, C.T. Miller, and dates at 1867, and that's just before the youngest son dies. So perhaps a small homage to the father before his own death. And this one is issued to a Mr. John Hanson, and it was given to him, presented to him in St. James's Palace. And we have here its original box of issue. And this is an earlier example, as I said, and I think it probably dates from the 1840s, although maybe a touch later, so about 20 years earlier than the first example we looked at. So for the much more ornate, earlier example, in its own original fitted box and in extremely fine condition, we're looking at near enough double the price of the first example we looked at. Now this special piece can be picked up in our latest fixed price catalogue for £1,550, which I think is a bit of a steal considering this special piece of Westminster history. So I think that concludes our chat about these Westminster badges, and if you're interested in viewing them, please pop along to our shop at 399 the Strand. Very welcome to. I think we've got one of them in our shop window at the moment. Certainly it's attracting a lot of interest. Thanks for watching.